Ladies and gentlemen, today I've got something strange for you. It's a puzzle, it's a mystery, it can be called many things, but it all revolves around the Zombies Outbreak within Warzone. As you guys know, the Zombies Outbreak is something new with Season 2 of Black Ops Cold War, and essentially zombies have been added into Warzone. Originally, they crashed upon shore and were at Shipwreck, and yesterday, that changed a little bit. However, it appears as though Activision and Raven are hiding something within their promotional material that tells us a different story as to what is going on with these zombies. In fact, they're actually telling us two different stories in two different ways. And that is what this video is going to be all about, discussing what this story is currently going on with the zombies and also discuss where it is going moving forward, because it is strange and it is contradictory and we want to get to the bottom of this. So that is what this video is going to be all about, and how we're going to do it is we are first going to start with the message that they are trying to tell us, and then we're going to start with the secret message that is embedded in some of their promotional material, like literally hidden in Morse code. It's strange, but let's start with the original message. That's a lie. So this all began about 2 weeks ago, and it all began with a boat. The boat that crashed upon shore of Verdansk. Now, what we know about this boat is it was a boat coming from Rebirth Island holding Nova 6 gas. We also had some transmissions come across from Captain Rosenthal, the captain of the boat, saying that something bad had happened upon board. He screams, and we can only assume that the Zombies Outbreak began while they were at sea. We also know that this boat set sail in 1984 and didn't land on shore until 2021, which is an insane amount of time to be at sea. We don't know how this happened or how people survived for that long, whether it went through a portal or whether it just was floating at sea for an extended period of time. But what we do know is when it crashed upon shore, the boat broke apart, we see some Nova 6 gas in the water, and zombies were in the boat. And then yesterday, that all changed because the zombies were no longer inside the boat. In fact, the zombies were completely gone from that area, but instead the zombies were now moving and were inside prison. This is when the new part of the story begins with a blog post that Activision put out. But before we read that blog post, I wanted to point out a couple of things about the zombies in prison. There are new types of zombies. First of all, the eyes are now glowing in all of the zombies, and the main zombies have these kind of white glowing eyes. However, some of these zombies have mutated and have red eyes, and when you shoot them, they quite literally explode, which is new. That was not in the ship before, which tells us that the zombies are changing, they're evolving, and they are mutating. Now, it's at this point yesterday when Activision puts out a warning blog post for all Verdansk operators.
Attention all Verdansk operatives. The emergency broadcast system has issued a minor contagion warning for the southern zone of Verdansk, encompassing the Miasma epicenter, the ghost ship, aka Vodyanoi, as well as all territories immediately east, including the Zordia prison complex and surrounding areas. In addition, terrain reconnaissance scouts, in conjunction with a multilateral armistice air support squadron, have determined the existence of anomalies within this region of Kostovia. The following guidance has been approved for all military operators working within the greater Trevorsk area.
So this announcement then goes on to explain to the operatives what exactly they are dealing with. They are calling these anomalous zones where we are finding the zombies. On top of this, they go on to say that these zones that are compromised are the prison as well as the Shipwreck complex, which is odd because as of yesterday, the Shipwreck didn't have any zombies on it anymore. On top of this, they describe the hostiles as cadaverous in appearance and lacking of constraintive cognitization, which is basically saying that these things are zombies. And then the most important part, they put out one final alert, and it says, "Alert, containment protocol level has not been raised, as these threats appear to be mainly contained to the southern zone of Sector 5, and operators in surrounding regions should proceed as normal. Computer models expect the anomalous activities to cease shortly, and a conflagration is not expected." That's the most important line. "Stay frosty and execute the mission." All right, so this is where things get interesting. At the very end there, the very last sentence of that statement, they say a conflagration is not expected. what is a conflagration? If you Google search it and you look for a definition, the definition is an extensive fire which destroys a great deal of land or property. A more direct translation is a large and destructive fire that threatens human life, animal life, health, and or property. Now, it doesn't necessarily directly have to be a fire. It can be something like a bomb or a nuke or a missile, or anything that causes this massive damage with an exothermic reaction. But don't worry, right? Based off of the statement, based off of the alert that they put out, that's not going to happen. Or is it? Because you see, at the exact same time that they put out this announcement, they also put out this image, a seemingly normal image. It shows that the contamination is at 5% of Verdansk. It also shows a picture of prison. But what you didn't see, and what I even didn't see yesterday, is right underneath the 5%, there is Morse code. And if you zoom in on this and actually translate it, it says conflagration definitely expected. That is exactly what it translates to. Now, we don't know who put it in there or why it is there, but it goes in direct opposition to the statement that they put out directly to all of the Verdansk operatives. So seemingly they are hiding the fact that they are going to have to start a fire, launch nukes, launch missiles, or do something to stop the spread of these zombies. Now, this hits a little bit too close to home with the current thing that's going on in the world, but let's talk about it briefly. Basically, what is going on here is in that statement that was put out, it appears as though whoever is putting out these statements, whether it be the news network that is actually being showed on the Twitter for Call of Duty, and I believe on the Instagram as well, they are saying it's not a big deal. It's going to be contained to the prison or to the boat, and it is not going to move any further. Therefore, no further steps are going to be necessary. However, based off of this piece of information, it appears as though someone inside is telling us that that is not the case, and there's expected to be some sort of drastic action taken to prevent the spread of these zombies. So what can we expect to see next? Well, I think the first thing that needs to happen is the actual spread of the zombies. It appears as though they're actually going to be moving out in a pretty sensical direction. They first moved to prison and then probably going to slowly move northwest from there, slowly eventually pushing up into the mountains. Now, with the rumor of the next map actually taking place in the Ural Mountains, that would make a lot of sense why it would go there. On top of this, there's also another rumor that the nukes will be launched, and they will be launched at Verdansk in a defensive fashion and blow up the entire map, and we're going to have some sort of completely destroyed Verdansk to counteract these zombies. So the next thing we have to look at is at a time frame for this. So basically it took 2 weeks for these zombies to move one position. Now I'm guessing from here it's going to speed up, and if they follow an actual curve of what an actual zombies infection would look like, it would be exponential, so it would amp up quickly after the first few zones. So the two time frames as to when this big event could happen are number one at the season 2 reloaded mid-season update time, or what makes more sense to me is probably at the beginning of season 3. That would be when I would expect to see some big changes to Verdansk, and on top of this big event, this big time frame shift and explosion potentially that would happen. So my best guess is for season 3, that is when we're going to be getting this conflagration. Now, what's going to be really interesting is what they decide to do next with this. Is, as of right now, they have just infected one area at a time. So for example, prison's infected now, however, Shipwreck is no longer infected. However, if they keep spreading this and it goes to more than one location, eventually the entire map's going to be infected, and that's going to totally change the way that Warzone is played. Because remember, this isn't in just one specific mode, it is in every mode. But if they do with what they're doing now, and we're just pretending like the zombies are still in Shipwreck, and they just add one new zone, and whenever they do, that is the only one that has zombies in it, then that would kind of make sense, and Battle Royale would play relatively normally, except for that one individual area. And I don't know what they're going to do, but in that press release, it did say that zombies are currently in both areas, and as we can see on the map, they're only in prison. So what they're going to do with that, not 100% sure, but what we can expect to see is something big, a big explosion, something along those lines coming to Verdansk, and I think it's going to be pretty wild. So let me know what you think of this down in the comments. I think it's a pretty cool update to the Zombies Outbreak storyline, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, like what you saw, always appreciate it if you hit that like button, and if you want to stay up to date on all my videos, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on, let me know what you think down in the comments, all that good jazz. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time, Peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this